So you were the shortest speaker. Thank
Yeah.
you. And now last but not least, I suppose.
And he said revolution is needed in India to change the system. I think that revolution is already present here on the dais. So a loud round of applause for the revolutionaries who are already here on stage this evening. And we request now respected Mr. Rohit Pande, who is an ex-IITian, and he's also done his MBA from Indian Institute of Management. And Mr. Pande is the CEO of Class Teacher Learning System, and he's going to express his views on how to harness technology in schools and how to measure outcomes through it.
If I get my laptop, I'm targeting about 6-7 minutes, so 6-7 minutes from here, but I'm waiting for my laptop. So just, what I'm going to actually talk about is a bit different from what you just heard. There's been a lot of technology on the dais, and that's a welcome change, in fact. Having spent almost a decade in school education technology, being an outlier in conferences where I was kind of representing the technology voice and people saying whether this would happen in India or not. It's a great pleasure to be part of a panel where there are so many technology voices today. So what I'm going to talk about, this one, is actually something which might help you right now after having heard a dose of technology on how to make decisions along the path of technology integration in your school. So, this is a kind of question which hits us quite a lot these days after all these years and making lots of products and working with about 500 schools and listening to people and their perspectives on technology over these years. I think this question is very pertinent for educational technology in schools. We build different kind of cars and we get them to schools, but experience is telling us that the actual speed inside a school lies with the driver and not in the vehicle. So that's a very important point when we make decisions with respect to technology in the school. So we talk about mindsets, and one of the most important mindsets that one has seen is whether technology is a thing in itself, but some of the speakers have addressed that before, but is technology a thing in itself, or is it a part of everything we do in a school? I think the next one is important. Surely some of you, or many of you, would have already started deploying technology in the schools. So the question then is no more how to use technology. As more and more schools deploy technology, it would not just become the yes-no binary decision on deploying technology in the school, but a much more fundamental question of effectiveness on how effectively you integrate it in your everyday life. I think that question is going to be more and more important. And for those of us who haven't yet taken decisions to implement technology, the advantage is that we can think about some of these issues even as we jump into the decision now. I think one of the best ways to get inside technology is by setting expectations right in terms of what you can achieve in different time frames, in 6 months, in 1 year, in 3 years, and have a kind of roadmap on what you want to achieve over 5 years then.
Please don't move because we're going to finish in 5 minutes flat. He is the last speaker, and then I'll have a little word with you.
So issues related to, in fact, what we've done, and since I've committed to 7 minutes and 5 have already gone, what we've done is we are about to release about 4 case studies of schools where we've worked for about 7-8 years now, And we've seen the journey and a lot of shortcomings in that journey because we were kind of learning it for the first time. And we've compiled them into a case study, which we'll be happy to share with most of you. And we've also created a framework, which is like a complementary framework we do with schools, which allows you to take decisions on how much to absorb and at what timelines. So that's something, feel free to interact with us, and we'll be happy to share that framework with you. So ratios of how much in hardware, software training, and whether you want to make a start around classroom instruction or homeschool or the various kinds of labs which are possible, or even assessment. Assessment is a very good starting point, in fact, given the new kind of policy directives which are coming. Now, this is a tricky one because, having gone to over 5,000 schools, I think schools don't have a framework to evaluate educational software yet. I mean, we go to these teacher presentations and, there are 50 teachers sitting and there are 2 hours. That's not probably the best way you can evaluate educational software. So we also talk in our frameworks about a framework to evaluate educational software. And then this is a question, I think, for those who haven't yet started, whether to do a pilot or go for a big bang. I think both could be done, but they need to be thought out and tie in with the overall school strategy. Now this one, whether to start in primary, middle or secondary, and then with subjects. Also, what we talk about in this framework which we are releasing is for schools who've already started a kind of mid-course stock taking on how much they've achieved through technology and what kind of mid-course correction can they make. So tools such as teacher surveys, student feedback, scientific measurement of learning outcomes, we talk about all these tools in the approach. And these are some of the case studies. I think the font is too small, so we talk about a school using technology to promote critical thinking, technology in a residential school, and in a professional development program, and developing a professional development program for effective ICT deployment, and a new one for integrating CCE effectively through technology. Well, somewhere along the route, also a place for people like us in your life, partners or consultants, to help you integrate all of this. So I think there's a lot of thought that schools should give on whom to consult finally on navigating this path, a partner to navigate this path for them. Thank you.